AntiContentProject.com.
Open and close them!
Welcome to She Served Too. I have with me Natasha and
Hi.
Lucy.
Hi.
Some brand new people to our show. We are here at the Honor, Courage, and Commitment Vet Center. Would that be what you would call it?
Yes.
In Dallas, Texas. We just got done with the Mill Blogging Convention, Military Influencers Convention here in Dallas. And I got to meet some lovely women veterans and wanted to hear their story. So here we are. Natasha, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm originally from Louisiana. I joined the Air Force at 17, and I served about 13 years. I got out and joined the Air National Guard, in which I'm still serving now, and out here at Dallas Fort Worth, and that's it. Just, here doing a veteran program, trying to see what my next adventure is going to be after retirement of the military.
Very good. And Lucy, tell us a little bit about you.
I'm originally from Dominican Republic, and I grew up in New York, signed up in Brooklyn also when I was 17 for the Army. I've been out about a little over 20 years and been in Dallas for 10 years now. I went through the fellowship program, HCC's fellowship program last year to better my existing business, to do better. I'm a personal trainer and nutritionist, and I come down here to the office whenever I get a chance and just catch up with everybody and see if there's anything they need or, if they help me out, which is
Very
always
cool.
available to me.
So what is the Fellows Program? I'm curious about this.
It's their entrepreneurial program. They're in conjunction with SMU, so they teach you how to. If you're interested in opening up your own business, they teach you how to do that. So
cool.
it's like a business program almost.
Now, what is SMU?
It's
Southern Methodist
University.
Okay.
Yeah,
College.
it's a very, very good school here in Dallas.
Yeah, it is.
So is it like an accredited program through SMU? So you
Yes.
get credits and stuff as well?
I don't know if you get credits for it or not, but it's through. It was all, well, actually, it wasn't all veterans. There were other students there, but it is made available through the program. So
That's
we
really
went
cool.
once a week to class.
That's awesome.
At the campus.
That's super cool. It is amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
So.
It helped me out.
And what branch of service were you?
I was in the Army.
Okay. What did you do?
I was a Black Hawk mechanic.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what do you do? Or what did
I've
you
had a couple jobs.
Like, it's enough of a career.
So, I know. So when I first started, I was medical admin. Then I went to postal. Then I also was a flight attendant for Air Force 2. So I pretty much flew with the world leaders. Then from there, I did personnel and industrial security. And now that I'm back down in Texas, leaving D.C., I'm back as a medical administrator.
Wow, that's quite the career.
Yeah.
Lots of different places. Air
have.
Force too. That's impressive.
Thanks.
That's awesome. So, what has your experience, like you're still in, so you've been in more recently than either of us.
Right.
So, I'd be curious, kind of, when I came in, there were still several people that were like, women shouldn't be in the military, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure you experienced the same thing.
Yeah, I was the last all-female class of basic training in Fort Jackson.
Oh, wow.
So,
that's
I'm actually glad it was still that way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But I think, I went through integrated basic training, but it was a very weird integrated. It was like we had a brother flight and we were their sister flight. So occasionally we would mix together and like have two separate flights that were integrated.
Yeah.
But it was very like
segregated.
specific, and like we would work on tasks together, like cleaning the stairwell or whatever. But we weren't allowed to talk to each other. Like you could talk to the female airman, but you couldn't talk to the male. It was just like this weird like. You're together, but you're not. Like,
yeah, that's my experience in basic as well.
So so you went and it was all women then.
All women.
Was it at a separate base? Was it the same base?
No, it was still the same base.
Okay.
We did see the guys marching through, but we weren't allowed to talk to any of them.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that. My own opinion is should have remained that way. I was very focused on my job and focused on everything without having any distractions. And I think that the male-female integration does cause distractions. And it's been proven even in schools where girls, will hold back raising their hands and doing, answering questions because the boys, they might get embarrassed. So I guess in that sense, I'm a little old school, and I think it should have just remained that way.
Okay.
So you think it's more of an intimidation factor for? It's
a subconscious intimidation, and I worked in male industry jobs my entire life. I was a helicopter mechanic, so I was one of like two women in my platoon. Then when I got out, I became a motorcycle mechanic. So I was one female out of one female and like 150 guys. So I've always worked and then in the gym is the same thing.
Yeah.
Even though I have probably more certifications than a lot of the guys that I train with, a lot of the other male trainers, there's still this sense of like, well, because I'm bigger and I'm a man, I know more than you about this, and it's not the case. And I see that, I raised a daughter, and she was doing graphic design, and she came to me with the same complaints, like, oh, these boys, they think they know everything, and I can't get a word in when I'm trying to answer. And they, even if they don't do it on purpose, subconsciously it's being done. Boys usually have more confidence, and when it comes to answering questions and being more open about things than some girls do. Girls do tend to be a little bit more shy.
That's true.
And sometimes it just works, against us.
Right. Yeah. And a segue to that, I had went to this other class, Attitudes and Attire, here in the Dallas area, which is another good group. And kind of the segue off, she said, a lot of us female veterans feel that way, like, especially the ones that married to another military spouse. It was so, like, to me, breathtaking that they didn't even consider themselves veterans, or that they served, or once they met their boyfriend or got married, they felt like, oh, I should get out because the military's him and I'll be at home and do the wife and kid thing. And I just thought, wow, like, that's a different culture that I wasn't even aware of, because I guess maybe I've always been single and I've been more outspoken. Yeah. So, and then I haven't been in a male-dominant type environment neither, to where I was like, females still think, females think that way, or like, I never thought anybody joining, especially females that got out, would never consider themselves as a veteran or reap the benefits of what they could do. Like, this one lady was like, I've never really participated in Veterans Day, and I never really went to the VA and all that. And I was like, so you've been passing up all these benefits that were entitled to you. And she was like, well, when I got out and I was married to my husband and in a relationship, it was like the focus was about him and the kids. And I just like basically just took a step back, and I was like, what? So that was definitely shocking for me.
Was your ex-husband military or no?
My ex-husband was in the military when we got married. He actually got himself kicked out before we even lived together. But when I got out and I separated from the military altogether, I didn't claim any benefits. I've never been to the VA. I've never even admitted to people that I was a veteran, that I served. It was just something I did a lifetime ago. It was a job. Until 2 years ago when I met everyone here and other groups that I participate with. So I understand it's just like backing off, and to my experience with the military it wasn't this horrible thing that people that I've heard stories, but for me, my separation was horrible. My separation was very abrupt, and I wasn't ready for it. So transitioning into civilian world was really difficult for me, except that I did have my family to support me. So in that sense, I just disconnected. I was like, well, if it didn't work for me, then now where do I go from here? And I just totally treated it like any other job that I quit, and just walked away. But for 20 years, I felt like something was missing in my life. And then until I found the veterans groups that I'm involved with now, I didn't feel like I was at home. Now it's totally changed.
That's
awesome. Good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
You guys have a good thing going here.
Yeah, because I actually, when I went to Boots and Attire, that's how I found out about here, and I went through the ACE program, and that's where I guess I'm still in, but I'm not, so I'm in that civilian / I can still be on orders, military status, so they're helping me with my transition because I didn't realize LinkedIn was as important as it is now.
Yeah.
Resumes and how you put numbers, like when I first got out, they was like, make it more civilianized and just, take out the acronyms and this. Now it's like the way we write EPRs, they was like, add your numbers. You supervise how many people you did this. But back then, a couple years ago, that wasn't the same briefing I got. So being here and going through the class and then, of course, with my personality and doing a good job, I actually work up here now. And I get to meet other veterans and do things like this, which I love to do because, again, I didn't realize that there were a big disconnect, especially with the military, with female veterans. And that's why when you told me what you did, I was like, yes, I'll come to Vegas. I'll be on your podcast because I feel like a lot of females, like you said, should listen to this and know that it's okay to, whatever has happened in your military career, to still say that you're a veteran and be proud of what you did when you did it, whether it was 2 years, 4 years, or, you were a lifetime or whatever. So I think this is very important, and it would definitely open up a lot of more eyes and minds of getting them back to, where they started from being military.
Totally. Like, I think my experience, I married someone in the military, and I stayed in until we had our daughter, and we were both deploying 6 to 9 months a year, so there was really no way. And unfortunately, at the time, there was no option for me other than getting out. And he didn't have the option to get out, so I got out. And, like, I was dealing with severe depression. I was dealing with some other issues. But it's tough when you're in that dark place. Like, you don't even really have the energy to reach out.
And that's
you don't know that you're in it.
Yeah. Like, you don't know how bad it is.
Yeah,
like,
you just, I can't get out of this.
Yeah.
And you don't know what it is. And once you figure out your purpose, then you can get out.
Totally. But it wasn't until I really was willing to reach out that I started really connecting. And really, it's been since my kids are both in school that I really have started getting into some of the therapy groups. And I found that groups for women veterans especially, I think, I maybe it's true for all veterans, my counselor has shied me away from the integrated groups a little bit because sometimes I think it's like what you're saying where women don't feel comfortable talking and then men want to jump in and say, oh, well, that's not true. Like when it's like, well, this may have not been what you thought was my experience, but you don't know me.
Yeah.
So the women's groups have been extremely powerful in terms of feeling not alone. Like I think as military women, we've lived a different life than most American women. Like we've done things that
everyone.
I agree.
Yeah, and so I don't think we can find a lot of women able to identify with that, and so we kind of just feel like this weird outsider.
Well, like that, like where for 20 years I felt like something was missing. That's what was missing. I had my family, but they didn't understand me. I'm the only one in my family that went into the military, so they don't get it. No matter how much I explained it, they didn't understand. And I surrounded myself with people that were civilians. They weren't prior service, so they didn't get me either. Like, I was in a relationship where he was a good guy and everything, but whenever I went into my, moments here and there where I had anxiety or anything like that, and he's like, what the hell's wrong with you? It's like, those are the wrong words to say.
Yeah.
You know, it's just he didn't understand, and for a long time I didn't understand. And I did the same thing. I went and sought out counseling, and I have private counseling, and I've gone to a couple of retreats with women only, veteran women only, and it's been amazing to hear their stories, to be able to tell them my experience and how I got out of it, because I'm in a really good place in my life right now, and I feel like I can help other women and other veterans in general see things a little bit different, because I walked that already. I'm still walking it, because I'm not. I don't think we're ever gonna be
Right.
We're never gonna be.
We're never nobody, and I'm talking about civilians, anybody. We're never gonna be perfect, but we're always gonna, try to improve. We were just talking about that in our physical sense. It's also in our emotional and mental state. We're always looking to improve, and if you stop that, it's pretty much when your heart stops. So.
It's true.
That's true.
Like, one of the things, Jalissa, who's one of the people, well, she's the one we started the show together back in Vegas, and I have talked about, is that as women in the military, we felt like there was very much women excelled in the military because we had to excel to be taken seriously. Was that your experience as a helicopter mechanic?
My stint was so brief, but in my company, there was another female, and we were polar opposites. And I was a lot more serious, and I kind of closed myself off to emotions. Where it was just matter of fact and going to work and do your job and go home. She was more social, so definitely it still plays in my life now, where I walk into the gym and I have to carry myself a certain way, and I have to behave a certain way in order to be taken seriously, because there's so many, especially with the industry, it could go in so many directions for a female. One false move, one bad picture, and on Instagram, and you're that girl. So for me, I'm older. I have a daughter that I think about and make sure that I'm setting the example. And for my own female clients and their daughters, and pretty much just anyone, I'm not against anyone doing what they feel is great for them. If you want to pose, in a tiny bikini or whatever, that's great if you're comfortable with that. For me, my business and my image is not that. So I try my best to carry myself a certain way. And I do feel the difference in how I'm treated as opposed to how the other female trainers are treated.
Totally.
And I got that, from my parents and from basic training.
Yeah.
I had great drill sergeants that really instilled really high self-esteem and empowerment. So
Very good. How about you, Natasha?
I can't really say that I've ever really felt any of that, because all my jobs were pretty much, everybody seemed equal. Medical admin, it's more females than men doing that.
True. Yeah.
Then as a flight attendant, we were all equal to dignitaries. The world leaders don't look at me and women, go get my food, my coffee, my snacks. So I really never been in a male-dominant environment where I felt like, just the type of person I am, my personality, I do like to put my best effort and excel in what I do, because that's just how I am. And I'm not competitive, and if people think that's weird, I'm not competitive, but I do what I do, if that makes sense. But I've never been in them.
I'm not competitive, but I want what I do
to be the best.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I've been in a male-dominant role to where I felt like I had to put forth the best effort in order to prove to them that I had to. So.
No, it's good to hear that perspective.
Yeah.
You're the first one I've talked to like that.
Oh, wow.
So, but that's good. It's good to know that there are places where...
Well, there's a lot of that. For me, it's not that I want to prove to them that I'm better. It's more that I set a standard for myself, and I don't get below that. I don't care what they're doing. Their business is their business. I run my business a certain way, and I'm consistent with it, because that's what I want to give my clients and anyone the best service that I can.
Yeah.
if you decide to stay with me or not, or work with me or not, you can't say, well, she was a crappy trainer, or she didn't know what she was doing. No, you're gonna say that, well, I didn't want to work with her because we just didn't get along or whatever. Because I will interview as a client, and you will interview me, and we'll decide, well, you know what, our personalities aren't gonna go together, so maybe you should go somewhere else. I don't have a problem turning down someone.
That makes sense.
Because it should be an enjoyable experience to work with someone. You shouldn't go, especially what I do, you shouldn't be trying to force yourself and force it to happen. If you don't enjoy my company, you're going to see me an hour a day, every day, then you need to go somewhere.
And I'm paying you my money. And I'm paying you my money.
Yeah, so it should be enjoyable.
I need to be happy.
Yeah, so, and for the both of us, yeah. But yeah, the service to me is, I set a standard for myself, and I don't want to go below that standard. I don't care who's around me. I'm not in competition with the male trainers because I'm not a male. They might be in competition with me because in their heads they think they're competing with me. For me, it's not the case. When I first started, though, it was really hard to learn that because it was this constant, like, they did kind of like walk around like dogs pissing on their territory. It was kind of like, man, I can't even get in the door. But things, with experience, things change. And with a lot of it was the training from the military where I don't have a give up attitude.
That's good.
I'm going to try and keep trying until I get it right. And I've gotten it to a point where it's working for me and I'm happy. My clients are happy. I love the gym that I work at. I love everyone I work with. So, it's just awesome. Finding that happy place, knowing that things are still going to be different, still going to have some people coming at you, sideways.
It's just life.
But that's,
I think that's life. True for anybody.
Right. No matter what you do.
Somebody is not going to like you.
Exactly.
In life at some point.
And it's okay. Not everyone likes apples.
So how about you? Have you been in a male dominant?
I was an intel analyst.
Okay.
Yeah. Intel analysts, we had a higher percentage of women than the military in general at the time. I think at the time, women made up about 8 or 9% of the military, and in intelligence it was like 35-40%. So it was higher percentage.
Okay.
However, we worked with the pilots. We worked with fighter pilots or something else.
Yes, they are.
And so but I found that, by excelling, by doing my best, by being the best at my job, once people knew me, they respected me.
Yeah.
Because I did my job well. But it was so frustrating for me going to Airman Leadership School and having men be like, oh, you only got below the zone because you're a girl. And I'm like, no, I got below the zone because I worked my butt off. I was in Korea for my first tour, and I worked I worked 80, 90 hour, 120 hour weeks.
Yes.
So to try to tell me that it's just because I'm a girl, I'm like, no, it's because I worked really, really hard. And so that was irksome, I think, but it was also, there was a certain, I do feel like being in the military, successfully completing basic training, successfully navigating that road has given me, I forget I have it sometimes, but you kind of get this idea, okay, nothing can stop me.
Yeah.
I made it through that, what really is...
Right.
But then when you're in the middle of depression, then it all goes out the window. And
that's a whole different state of mind. That's a whole other, we have the Center for Brain Health here, where we go through that. HCC put us through that also, where you learn how to problem solve and how to think. And when something is real, or is it that you're making it up in your head? We have the inner dialogue that really eats us up. If you have ever been in a depressive state, it's really difficult to get out of it and see the reality. So if you're able to get out of that and latch on to what you learned in basic, for me, it was those words, same thing, the words that my drill sergeant says, you got past something that most people don't even dare to take on. You did everything the men did. You did everything, so why can't you, for me, it's why can't I do that? When I decided to become a motorcycle mechanic, my friends and my family are like, what do you mean you're going to go be a mechanic? I'm like, what? Like,
Why not?
why? Yeah, like it didn't even fathom. Like I couldn't even understand why I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, it just made sense. I was a mechanic in the Army. Why can't I? I mean, a helicopter is way bigger and harder to work on than it was a motorcycle. So it just didn't. Like it just made sense to me.
Yeah, totally.
You know, so or drive like before cell phones and before navigation, got in my car in Brooklyn and drove to Phoenix by myself with an atlas.
Yep.
An atlas is a paper map. You know.
In case you don't know.
So
Technology's taking over.
And I think about it now. I'm like, man, I must have been crazy to do that by myself. But back then, it just made sense.
Yeah.
I didn't have another option. It wasn't like, oh well, maybe I'll just sit around and do nothing until I figure it out. It was just not like that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So.
Your transition will be great. You'll see.
Yeah.
I hope so. And just to say that, because I know hopefully other veteran females that watch this, if you're still in the military or even if you're not, please get out in the community, find your veteran programs, because that was one of the things that I didn't know about when I first moved from D.C. to Houston. And like you said, you go in depression and you kind of like, what's wrong with me? Why I can't find a job? I got a degree. I got all this experience. I got this and that. And then you just feel like, it's not you, but that mind reality of it got to be me because I don't got this going on and this is not lining up for me. So please don't be afraid. Find veteran groups, resources, anything that you can to, ACC.
If you're in Dallas or near Dallas,
definitely come check us out here. If you're somewhere else, or look us up and call, and we can find you resources in other states, because we have other programs here that are also in other states, like the Workforce Center, that can direct you to other places. I know Goodwill in Houston is also a center that helps veterans go to school, if you need housing help, mental health or whatever. So it's out there. Please don't feel like you're alone. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel like you're the only person. Please get out there and come meet people like us and make sure your transition is smooth and that you got a support system, because it's important, very important.
Yes, you're not alone.
No.
And that is the key message of the show. You're not alone. We are here for you. There's lots of us.
Yes.
We may be
still
hidden.
have struggles.
People may not realize we're there, but we are.
Yes, we are.
It's true. I didn't know up until like 2 years ago. So, and I know that we are the last ones to ask for help. So get over that and just go get it. Just ask for it, because we get you. We understand. Yes. We know what you're going through. We've been through it, or somebody has. Somebody has gone through what you've gone through, and there's nothing better than to find that type of a person that can just get you.
Right.
And I can say that from experience.
Definitely.
And also meeting people in groups open doors for opportunities, because I was still technically unemployed until I went to this program that introduced me to this program, and now my whole world has actually changed from leaving Houston and coming here to now where I'm at now. Spirit-wise, just this weekend, my cousin was like, man, your spirit seemed different. You're back, again. And it makes a big difference. And again, just that one person or that one connect or that one group or that one organization can open up many other doors for you, so that you can get out there and be back who you were, or even develop a new you and do something different. So definitely, please utilize your resources. Tell us your story.
Please. And we are always looking for new people to be on She Served Too.
Yay.
If you're a female veteran yourself, please reach out. We will have on our video, I'm going to put up the link to where to get a hold of us, so that we would love to hear your story. Like we're working on ways to be able to do that remotely, so that even if you can't come to Vegas or I can't come to you, that we can still hear your story.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
Telling your story, not only hearing others' stories, but telling your own story can be very cathartic. It really can help. Like it validates you. It helps you. It helps validate your experience, because somebody else heard your story.
Yes.
And when you know that somebody else may be hearing something in that story that they can resonate with,
and maybe you have something to say that I need to hear.
Yes.
At that time, you never know how you're gonna help someone else.
Yes.
Get through their day without you even trying.
Yes. very true.
Definitely.
So thank you, Natasha and Lucy, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Fun, thanks.
And reach out at AntiContentProject is our Twitter handle. Please. And what are your?
I
Do you
don't
guys
have any,
have any
no.
kind of social media?
I'm
Anything?
Lucy Cava on Instagram and Facebook, and I have a Facebook page. It's Cava Fit. That's
Okay.
my company name.
Kava Fit. I will put that in the video
I'm
as
still
well, so
developing.
that you can. Maybe you'll get some new clients this way.
Maybe.
Somebody else is like, no, I want another female veteran to kick my butt. Get me
Right,
in
boot
gear.
camp again, work it out.
You can be the boot camp instructor that's actually been through boot camp.
Yeah.
Right,
I know.
Where you're like, what
Definitely.
is this? This is not boot camp.
Yeah.
So no, but people can reach you here. You work here at the HCC,
Yes,
right?
I work here at HCC, so they can reach me. I mean, my real name is Natasha McWilliams. I'm on Facebook. Other than that, that's my only social media.
Well, that's fine. That's awesome. So, and yes, so definitely, if you're in the Dallas area, look up
Yeah,
HCC.
come in, come talk to us.
They've got some awesome programs here.
Yes,
so
we do.
Thanks again.
Bye.
AntiContentProject.com.
Oh, yeah.
Natasha, can we talk about your shoes?
Oh, yes.
Can we talk about your shoes?
Yes, go ahead.
What was it back in the day?
Show
Your
out.
mama wears combat boots.
Yes.
They're amazing Corcoran boots.
They're not all the way polished. Don't actually have none at home anymore. But they still look pretty good for me to.
They do.